What is up, guys? It's Mega giving you another deck for Link Evolution. This time we're going to be honouring the synchro duelists out there, and we're going to be doing a Blackwing deck. This deck is of course my opinion of the day, and it's completely cool if you guys disagree with any of the cards I've put in this video. Before we start though, a quick note that Summon Sorceress and also Blackwing Steam the Cloak are banned in this game. We can't put it in the decks, and so the deck isn't as strong as what it can be. However, if you do want to put them in for like against campaign or whatever, feel free to do so. And with that, guys, let's get into the video. Starting us off, guys, is the 2 copies of Ash Blossom. Pretty simple hand trap. If this card is in your hand, you discard it. If your opponent does anything from the deck, special summon, send a card or add a card. This card basically shuts it down. Very good use for hand trap. Now moving on to the Blackwings themselves, we're running 2 copies of Uster, the South Wind. And when this card is normal summoned, you target one of your banished level 4 lower Blackwings, get special summon it. That's a great effect, especially when you combine it with a later card we'll talk about, and also a Law of Darkness as well. But the main reason you want to run this card as well is because you can banish it from your grave, and you get to place a wedge counter, which is decent for a synchro we're going to be talking about. And this card is just beast because of that one synchro monster. And the 2 copies of Blizzard the Far North, do not skip this. You need to put 2 of these in your deck. It's so good. And when this card is normal summoned, you get to target a level 4 or lower Blackwing, and you get a special summon from your grave. It's very easy for synchros or go into your Link 2 and above plays as well. Brilliant card. The 3 copies, of Borrow the Spear. And if you control a Blackwing monster in the field, you can special summon this bad boy, and also it can deal piercing damage. But the main reason you do it is because you can keep spamming the field. That's the best thing about the Blackwings. What's it, Crow? You saw I say, birds of a feather like to flock together. That's what these cards do. Special summon. And speaking of which, got the 3 copies of Gale the Whirlwind. Again, if you have a Blackwing monster on the field, you can special summon Gale. And Gale is very good for it's a tuner. And also, Gale can target one monster your opponent controls. His attacking events get sliced in half. So good. 1 Gadius the Midnight. If you control only one other Blackwing monster, special summon this card from your hand, which is nice. Nice, again, spamming. 2, Harmat in the Dust, sorry, that's a weird name. If you control, again, a Blackwing, you get special summon this bad boy from your hand, and it has a little effect as well to help out with synchros. So you get to target one of our Blackwings, you add their level onto this. So if you target a level 4, like Uster, its level is going to become 6. If you target, for instance, Gladius, it's going to become 5. So it's very easy to go into synchro plays with this card. The 3 copies of Chris the Crack of Dawn. Again, if you control a Blackwing other than this card, you get special summon it, and it's 1900 attack as well. And also has an effect where once per turn it can't be destroyed by spells and traps, which just gives it a little bit of protection. But if you haven't noticed, a lot of them have high attack and attack as well, and they can easily special summon them. That's what this deck's good for. 1 Blackwing, Orochi the Scroll. Again, if you have a Blackwing, you get special summon it. You're going to hear this a lot, guys, I tell you. And also, if you fusion summoned using this card, you get to target one monster on the field, change its position. So if your opponent has a monster in attack mode that has a very high attack and you don't, you can get around it with Orochi, or vice versa. If you want to deal damage, this card's good, good for that. And the main reason why this deck is so good, and you really want to see this card in enough turn 1, this card is Beast. The Blackwing, Shimmin the Poison Wind. It is so good. So if you control no monsters, you get to banish a Blackwing, and you automatically get to play a Black Whirlwind from your deck. And because it is place a Black Whirlwind, your opponent cannot not Ash Blossom this card. So that's why it's so good. And also because the Black Whirlwind is set, this card then gets to be normal summoned, which then is going to trigger the Black Whirlwind's effect. So with just this one card, because you've banished a monster, you can go into your Uster the South Wind. Then because you have it normal summoned, you get to play that. Uster's effect will then trigger getting your banished monster back. Black Whirlwind's effect will trigger as well. You see, and it just explodes. You can do all this, and then you can just keep special summoning your monsters that you keep choosing with Black Whirlwind. Oh my god, this like just with one monster, you can do so many plays. It's so broken, this card. Do not skip it, whatever you do. It's so good. And one value, the Emblem of Honor. This card can only synchro summon while it's in the graveyard, so it is also decent for synchro. So if you do like go for like a big board and you use this card for like link play, and then you want to go into a synchro play, you can do so with value. And also it's good fodder for Allure of Darkness as well. The one copy of Blackwing, Zephyrus the Elite. So if you have a face-up, if you have a card, you can return it back to your hand. You special summon this bad boy from your grave, but you take 400 damage if you do so. But it's good if you like have, I don't know, just have like a Black Whirlwind. That's the only card you have. You basically return the Black Whirlwind, special summon this guy, so at least you've got a monster on the field. That's why it's good. And back to the hand traps, guys. Running 2 Droll, not Bird. If your opponent tries to do anything like to add cards to the hand, Droll will lock it down. Such a good good card. And then the final hand trap is 2 copies of Ghost Ogre. If a monster activates its effects on the field or spell or trap activates on the field, you can discard this card, destroy the card. It doesn't negate, it only destroys. Please bear that in mind. And that's it for the monsters, guys. We're running the 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. Apart from our hand traps, every single monster we have, even in the extra deck, are all dark attributes. And because we're going to be drawing a lot of monsters, this card is just so good. God, you really did 3 Allure. And then the 3 copies of Black Whirlwind. If you normal summon a Blackwing, you get to add a Blackwing from your deck that has less attack. And this is not a once per turn. You can have all 3 on the board, and all 3 effects will trigger. So, say for instance you have Simon, the Poison Wind, and you have a Black Whirlwind in your hand. Instead of only activating 1 with Simon's effect, you get to play 2. So you get to search 2 Blackwings, and like I said, it just all explodes from there. It's such a good card, Black Whirlwind. And the 2 copies of Called by the Grave, it stops all hand traps that your opponent tries to play against you, and also it can get around pesky cards as well. So you banish a card from the grave. Should they have that same monster on the field, it's going to negate its effect. If they try and bring back a monster by like Secrets, Monster Reborn, Soul Charge, banish it, they can't bring it back. That's why this card is just so good. Monster Reborn, you can bring back your opponent's monsters if you destroy them. You can bring back our own ones that we use for link summoning and synchro as well. This card brings up so many plays. And that's the way we're playing the Soul Charge as well. Basically exactly the same. For every monster we bring back, you lose 1,000, and you can't go to your battle phase this turn. Please bear that in mind, but it's just so good. You can sort your board so easy with this. And the only reason why I'm running 2 copies of Infinite Impertinence is because, like say, this Steam Cloak Blackwing is banned in this game. If it wasn't banned, these 2 cards wouldn't be in it. That Blackwing would be in its place. So because it couldn't, I was short 2 cards. I was like, right, what can I put in? I put in Impertinence. You could easily put in Evilly Matched, or the Goes in Match. Like, you name it, you could put in any other trap if you want. But I decided to put in this one. And that's it for the main deck, guys. Going into the extra deck, we are running the 1 copy of Assault Blackwing Shadori the Rain Sprinkling. If this card is synchro summoned using the Blackwing material, it's treated as a tuner, which is kind of good for for your high synchro play. But the main reason you run this card is because for every Blackwing in the grave, especially if you're going to link summons, this card gains 300 attack for each, which is like beast. It's kind of like can get over a lot of cards. Also, if this card is destroyed and sent to the grave, doesn't matter by battle or by card effects, you get to target a synchro monster in our grave, basically a Blackwing, and you get to special summon it. So it basically recycles your graveyard. 1 Assault Blackwing Raikuri, the Rain Shadow Shower. This card is basically, if this card is synchro summoned again by using a Blackwing, it gets hands a tuner. That's kind of decent as well. But the main reason, like, you get to destroy cards your opponent controls equal to the number of other Blackwings you control. If you control 3 other Blackwings with this card, and it's easy to do so, you get to destroy 3 cards. Or or if you control 2, you get to destroy 2. You see what I mean? This card is good for wiping out boards. Sohoi, I can't pronounce that. The Rainstorm. Again, it gets cancer tuner. We don't care about that. You can also activate each of its cards' effects once per turn. Where if it's synchro summoned, you get to target an Assault Blackwing in your grave, special summon it. That involves Raikuri and Chidori. And also has another effect where during your main phase, if this card is sent to the graveyard because it was sent this turn, you get to banish another Assault Wing monster. I mean, you can't actually play this effect because we don't have another version. You get special summon it back to the field, but because we don't have it, you can't play this effect. It's mainly like you play the effect of you get to tribute, you get to target a monster in our grave and bring it back. It's the only reason you're going to play this card. 2 copies of Blackwing, Nothing the Starlight. The only reason we're running 2 is because Summon Sorceress is banned. If that card wasn't banned, this card would only be at 1. Again, I had 14 card max deck. I was like, right, what could I put in? It was either 2 copies of this or 2 copies of the Blackwing Tamer. So I decided to go with this card. And the main reason why is because when this card is special summoned, if it's synchro summoned, special summoned, you name it, your opponent loses 800 life points. That's so good. And it doesn't matter if they have a monster in the field or not, because its next effect is you get to target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, it loses 800 attack. They don't have to have a monster in play for them to receive the bird damage. No matter what, they will take it. And also during your main phase, you can do an additional normal summon. So that would then trigger the Black Whirlwind's effect as well. That's the only reason I chose this card over the other. And then the Blackwing Full Armor Master, this card is Beast. So the reason why we're running this card is because, quite simply, it's unaffected by all other card effects, including your own, which is just Beast. Basically, the only way they can get over this card is by destroying it by battle. Each time your opponent monster activates its effects, you get to place a wedge counter on all monsters your opponent controls. And then once per turn, you get to target 1 monster your opponent controls with a wedge counter. You get to take control of it, so it's very good, especially on your turn. And during the end phase, you can destroy all monsters on the field that have a wedge counter, so it can also do a full board wipe as well on all your opponent's monsters. But the main reason why this card is good is because you know how I said about that combo where using also the South Wind, you get to banish it to place a Blackwing count, so to put a wedge counter on your opponent. Then basically, because you've synchro summoned into Full Armor Master, you take control of it. It's as simple as that. That's why it's so broken without combo with Shimon. The Blackwing Tamer Obsidian Hawk Joe, what a name. When this card is summoned, you get to target a level 5 or higher wing type monster in our grave. You get special summon it. That's good. That's good. I know. So during either player's turn, when an opponent activates a card or effect that targets only this card, or when your opponent targets this card for an attack, you get to target another Blackwing, and they take the effect basically, because it kind of protects itself. So, but you mainly use this card for you get to target level 5 or higher monsters, special summon it back. And that's it for the Blackwings, guys. Going into Red Dragon, Archfiend Abyss, and Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. So if you go first, if you lose the coin toss and you do the Shimon combo, you want to summon Red Dragon Archfiend Scarlight, then you use Scarlight plus a level 1 monster like Squall. You get to go into Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, where it has a quick effect where you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. You can negate its effect, which is very decent. And if it destroys, or if it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you get to target a synchro in your grave and bring it back to the field, which is a niche effect. But if you win the coin, if you win like the rock paper scissors and you go second, you don't want to summon realistically a hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. You want to go into the Full Armor Master play. So you have like a 2 plays depending on what you get if you have Simon. And moving on to the synchros, into the links, guys. We're running the Borrow Sword Dragon. Needs no introduction. Link 4 needs 3 or more effect monsters. Can't be destroyed in battle. Once per turn, you get to target 1 attack mode monster. Change the defense. Can even be your own monster. If you do so, this card can attack twice. What can you say? And also, you can use that during your opponent's turn as well. And once per turn, when this card declares an attack on a face-up monster, it basically loses half its attack, and this card gains half its attack. So this card is just a beast to get over a lot of stuff. Nightmare Unicorn. You use this card, you link summon it, you discard 1 card, which won't hinder you 1 little bit. You target 1 card in the field, return it back. It's like a compulse monster. Link Karibo, we are running the Squall, and it's just decent in case you have that, and also the Vayu. You can go into Link Karibo. What more can I say? That's the only way to do it. And the main reason why this deck is so good is because of Gumball Dragon. So if a monster is special summoned to this card's link, you have to discard 1 or 2 cards. It's your choice, but your opponent has to send the same number of cards to the grave. So because if you set up your board, which is so easy to do so first, you can just basically just keep summoning monsters and force your opponent to just keep basically discarding their hand. They can't do anything. So Gomblar Dragon is so good in this deck. And then we have finally the 2 copies of Wee Witch Magician. Two dark monsters. All of our monsters apart from the hand traps are dark, so that's why this card's so easy to go into. This is like when you do the summon combo, you go into Wee Witch first because it's a monster's going to give all our monsters, including all of our back row near enough, 500 extra attack. Then you go into your synchro plays, and then because, like I say, if you do the wedge counter, you steal your opponent's monster. Then you have a Wee Witch plus your opponent's monster plus other cards. If you don't want to go for the attack, you can then go into, like, say, the Gumblar or the Moral Sword. It's just so easy to do. It all stems from the Wee Witch. And that's it, guys, for the deck. I do hope you enjoyed this Blackwing. I decided to make a synchro deck because all ones I've done so far is about fusion, Xyz, or links. So let's make a synchro deck to just mix some stuff up. The next deck I'm going to do, guys, is either going to be a True Draco or a Starlight, a Lunalight Orcus. Someone recommended that. I'll try my best to make one of them decks next. If you have any other deck recommendations, guys, hook me up down below, or go to my Twitch, which is in the description down below, and I will try to make any decks you guys desire. And with that, guys, take care. I hope you enjoy the replays. I'll catch you on the next video.